Good evening. This is the news that should be. A woman has died from a heart attack following her benefits being cut after she was admitted to hospital and missed an appointment with the Department of Work and Pensions. Ruby Uzbek's son, Peter, claims his mum was left worried about money because her benefit payments were stopped when she was admitted to hospital following a heart attack. A spokesman for the Department of Work and Pensions says the fact that Mrs. Ubex had a heart attack is not really a good enough excuse for missing an appointment with a job centre, and that she should have really tried harder and made more of an effort to get there on time. Duncan Smith was unable to comment because he was late for a meeting with American investment bankers to see how they could all profit from the poor by way of derivatives. These discussions are not designed to help the poor suffering from benefit sanctions, but to help millionaire bankers make even more millions on the back of the poor again. We did, however, manage to speak to Michael Fallon, the Defence Secretary, who said he was pleased Mrs. Ubex was stripped of her benefits because the government will soon be at war in Syria and will need all the money it can get. He went on to ask me with a stern face if I knew the cost of a cruise missile. In other news, Jeremy Corbyn has been lambasted by the right-wing media because he had the audacity to say we shouldn't have nuclear weapons that could destroy the planet. We only have this one planet, and having tens of thousands of nuclear weapons that could destroy this planet 100 times over seems the sensible policy for all in government, and you're deemed somehow weird for suggesting otherwise. Mr. Corbyn was also attacked for wanting to clamp down on tax evasion by big business, a move that will reopen his party's conflict with Boots the chemist, who've been dodging taxes for years, and they're quite happy to continue to do so. The only possible scenario that could see Boots the chemist paying the correct amount of tax is public pressure, but Boots' CEO, Stefano Pessina, knows the public are in a trance and will do nothing about it. We spoke to George Osborne regarding Mr. Corbyn's attitudes towards wanting big business to pay their fair share of tax, and Mr. Osborne, who had a suspicious white powder all around his nose, said that Jeremy Corbyn was living in cloud cuckoo land if he thought that big business would pay their fair share of tax. Osborne went on to say that these companies had paid out so much in bribes to politicians and party donations that there would be little money left to pay the correct amount of tax. An Islamic State training camp has been obliterated by 6 French fighter jets. The action came early Sunday morning after a heated phone call between French President François Hollande and Barack Obama. Obama wanted assurances that the hundreds of Humvees and Toyota 4x4s that he's supplied to ISIS won't be scratched or damaged in any way during the airstrikes. The airstrikes were originally planned for Saturday afternoon, as ISIS was settling down to watch an illegally streamed football match between Stoke City and Bournemouth. But Obama wanted to allow ISIS time to move the American-supplied weapons to a safe place first, so that they wouldn't be damaged, as Obama went through a lot of hassle getting these vehicles and weapons to ISIS in the first place. And finally, Karen Danchuk has been in the news again. This time her breasts weren't out for all to see. She was complaining that people think she is an airhead, that she gets called awful names, and that she isn't an attention seeker, despite the fact that for the last few years she's been acting like an airhead. Some would say she's been deserving of those awful names and has been posting pictures of her breasts popping out for the sole reason of seeking attention. Well, that's it for today. A quick word of advice for children: please do not go near any politicians. Goodbye.